Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Mike Chua, physical therapist, and yes, I am your alternative healthcare career coach. Tonight, we're going to be interviewing Miss Lizette Cloete. We're going to be asking her how to start your dementia consulting business. We'll be back in a few seconds, okay?
HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient intake process. Beautifully engineered and cloud-based for easy accessibility, the software works on all platforms. You can access patient records from anywhere. We also offer 24/7 support. HelloNote is the practice management solution that you're looking for.
Good evening, my Facebook friends. If you're watching live, comment live, watching on a replay, comment replay. Well, check it out. Check out hellonote.com if you need documentation system for your outpatient clinic, physical therapy outpatient clinic. Check out HelloNote. We actually use it. I'm just happy right now. We're using their scheduling system. It's way faster now. So check them out. Scheduler hellonote.com. Okay. And of course, check out medbridgeeducation.com. Use the code alternative. It gives you 40% discount, not 10, not 20, not 30, but 40% discount. Medbridge.com. Use the code alternative. And then, of course, we got a special guest for tonight. She's a good friend of mine. She's like, she's just an amazing person. We are doing this dementia Alzheimer's course and classes, and she's one of my good friend. She throws ideas at me, I throw ideas at her. I ask her to pray for me, she asked me to pray for her. So without further ado, of course I want to introduce her to first. Her name is Lizette Cloete. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right, because for some reason, for all these years, I've been pronouncing her name Cloete. How a Filipino pronounce it. But she is an occupational therapist. She is not from here in the United States. She is from South Africa, right? Hello, Africa. Hello, Africa. And she is a dementia care specialist. Obviously, she is a certified dementia practitioner. She also teaches the Alzheimer's disease and dementia care seminar. And of course, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in Lizette
Hey, Mike.
Cloete. Lizette, how are you there? I'm sorry. So
I'm very,
hope I'm
very
saying your
well.
last name right now, my sister.
No,
Still not. Oh gosh,
it's
I'm
okay though.
embarrassed.
You're not too far off. It's Cloete.
Cloete.
Hmm.
Okay, so I gotta combine
Yeah,
the
sort
Filipino
of
and
the
the
Filipino way, and what you were doing. I'll give you a clue.
Cloete.
Yeah.
Okay, is that really a South African last name or
Mhm.
a French something?
It is a French, German French last name. Yes,
Yeah, yeah. So
but it
okay,
is very South African too.
yeah, you know me. I grew up here in the States, so I can't pronounce that. So sometimes I pretend I grew up here, right? My wife would be like, "Whoo, you're just pretending you grew up in the States, but you can't really understand what you're doing." So, well, anyway, Lisette, could you please tell us again who you are, what you do, what is Think Different Dementia, and then how can we start? In our little group here, the Alternative Career Group, there are a lot of
Mhm.
people asking, "Hey, I want to do this dementia consulting business. I want to, do this, side hustle. I want to consult with people. How do I charge insurance? Can I charge insurance? Can I do this? Is this scalable? Is this what? Blah 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 blah." I know you've been doing this for a while, forever. How can we do this? How can we start this consulting business as a dementia expert?
Well, thank you, Mike, very much for having me here again today. This is not the first time we've talked about being a dementia consultant. So, how do you become a dementia consultant? That is a big question. So, a dementia consultant is not somebody who is working with people with dementia as a therapist, as a physical therapist, or an occupational therapist, or a speech therapist. What you're doing is you're consulting with people around them in order to come up with the best way to help that person. So it is not billable by Medicare. It's not billable through any of those kinds of things. I've been approached by facilities to consult on things like the environment of care. I have been consulted by attorneys to help determine, for people who are living in like an assisted living and they're having a hard time keeping them in that particular assisted living. And the estate attorney is working with family members to try to keep somebody at whatever level of care. So the being a dementia consultant is broader than just the therapy side of it. So it's a business that you have to start, and you have to know exactly what it is that you want to do, and who do you want to serve. And so when if you're thinking about becoming a consultant, one of the best things that you could do for yourself is actually become certified in dementia. Now, there are multiple different types of dementia certifications. And I was just telling Mike beforehand, I actually put together a document I'll put the link in the comments later. 8 certifications, 8 different types of certifications that are available for rehab professionals. And I just kind of scoured. Some of these are well known to us, some of these are not so well known. Obviously, one of the most well known is TIPA's Positive Approach to Care. But I found 8 different types of dementia certifications, and each one of these certifications offer you something different. So if you are wanting to do a type of certification that is extremely well known to facilities, to other places like attorneys and so on, becoming a certified dementia practitioner, which is the class that Mike and I teach, is a nice entry level basic. I don't want to say basic because it's not basic, but it's not a high barrier to entry. It is a certification program that you can take in a day, and it is very economical to do. And because Mike and I went ahead and got CEUs for OTs and PTs, you can get 7 CEUs if you take the class through us. Some of the other certifications are way more specific, and they are frameworks that have been developed by different clinicians. Like, for example, TIPA has her certification, that is her framework. She has several different types of certifications. There's a certification called Montessori Dementia Care certifications, which
I've
is,
heard about that too. So
yeah, it's an entirely different model of dementia care. And so they follow the Montessori approach. It was developed by a gentleman, Dr. Cameron Camp. And so that's a different type of a certification. Then you get, there's one called the Dawn Network. That one was developed by an attorney, of all people, who was a very keen observer, is a very keen observer of people. And she has developed a framework for taking care of people with dementia. And she's an attorney by background.
funny you
So,
mentioned that, Lisette. Didn't want to cut you off, but I
no, you're
was
good.
just talking to a local lawyer here,
Uh-huh.
and she actually took the CDP class,
Yep.
and she's an elder care lawyer,
Yep.
and she said, I wish all the elder care lawyer attended this class.
Yeah.
And I was kind of intimidated when she attended, because like, oh gosh, I got a lawyer.
No,
Normally I
it's
get intimidated
wonderful.
with a PC, a nurse practitioner or a PA who would attend, but I would have like a lawyer. It's like, oh gosh, am I? And then she was so honest, like, I really don't know all of this.
Yeah.
And this is a great niche, like
It's a
how, like
very
what you
good
said
niche.
earlier. Yeah. So yeah,
Right.
go ahead. I'm
And
sorry.
and so I actually get a fair amount of, I've been doing a lot of networking with attorneys, and special needs attorneys, people who are making trusts, Medicaid trusts, asset protection,
Hmm.
um, those kinds of people for a couple of reasons, because a lot of times those people are working on trying to keep a person at home. And so it'll be like a husband and wife combination who have, one has dementia, one doesn't have dementia, and they're trying to keep, like the client that I'm talking with right now, he lives in a memory assisted living, but his behaviors are out of the world and they're afraid that they're going to kick him out. And so they're trying to find somebody who can come in and actually assess his, not assess like therapy assess, but look at him and look and see what's causing his behaviors. And, you know, interviewing the wife, looking at the care partners, all of those kinds of things. So being a dementia consultant can be a wonderful way to educate and provide support in the community. But it is definitely something that you have to work hard on networking to find those opportunities. They don't just kind of fall in your lap. Um,
That's so true. That is so correct. I wanted to reiterate what Lisette mentioned. It just doesn't fall in your lap. You have to work on it, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter. Just like going into therapy school. Yes, you went to therapy school. You still have to pass the board exam. After passing the board exam, the patients will not come to you. You still have to work for it. You apply for a job, or even with opening your own private practice, you put up your shingles and everything. Is that what you call it in English? They will not come to you. You still have to network, like what Lisette was talking about, and then create an authority in your local community and letting them know, hey, I am the expert. And how would you tell them you're the expert if you are like a generalist therapist? How would they go to you if you are like, oh, I treat them all, pediatrics, orthopedic? You have to find that specific niche, like Lisette is doing, to be the authority in your area. And one thing to increase your authority is to get this certification, like what Lisette said, very low barrier to entry. I mean, it doesn't have to be our certification course,
no,
or we got Tipa Snow. I mean, Tipa is a good friend of mine. You
yeah.
got, Pessy also. We teach in Lisette and I teaches we teach in Pessy. They've got a certification course there too, and that will be the lowest barrier to entry to increase your credibility and authority. Next is obviously the books. You write a book about it. Write a book about Alzheimer's and dementia, and then that will increase your authority. In order for you to be an authority, you got to be an author. I always tell this and preach this. So, I'm sure Lisette has books, and
I haven't quite written my book yet. It's mapped out, but it's not quite written.
oh, I thought you already published that. So we already talk. We always talk about that, right?
I wish I had my book published, but I'll get there.
There you go. See, the way for you to increase is get a certification. Of course, just don't get it and then don't do anything about it. You got to take action too, and market yourself. So let's say you mentioned about the different certification.
Mhm.
Obviously, Tipa Snow, she's amazing. The PAC course, the Alzheimer's disease and dementia care seminar, the one that you and I teach, the Dawn, and the PESI stuff. What do you like about Alzheimer's disease and dementia care seminar, the one that we teach, versus obviously TIPA or the Dawn or the Bessie? What do you like most about it? Of course
So
we're biased, but
the thing I
on a
like about it the most is that it is a good general entry level certification. The pros of it is not expensive.
mm,
You could get 7 CEUs. You can be finished in a weekend and have your certification within a month. The cons of it is that it is a course that is developed for more than just therapy, right? Because I'm a therapist, I teach it from a therapist's perspective. We have a lot of leeway in how we teach it. But because it's not my course, I don't own the course. I teach the course as it's given to me, which makes it a certification course, right? The drawback is that because it is for a wider audience, it is for, like Mike said, attorneys and physicians and pharmacists and activity directors and memory care directors. I did a class with 11 people from a adult day program. So the scope of the course is broader than just therapy per se. So those are some of the pros and cons of that. Some of the pros and cons of some of the other courses that Mike has mentioned. Positive approach to care is great. It has a very high entry barrier, which means the courses are about $2,000 to $2,500 for the certification. And you are certified then in TIPA's positive approach to care, which is phenomenal. I know a lot about it. I'm not certified in positive approach to care, but I'm very familiar with it. So some of
You
the
know what?
pros.
I've been attending so much of her classes. I feel like I know the gems and everything, and she's just amazing.
Mhm.
I mean, Lisette is amazing, and I know I'm amazing too. But Tipa, I've met her several times, both personally and online, and she, if you have the money, obviously,
Yeah,
you got the time and the money. If your company will pay for it, go get it.
yeah,
If
it
you're
is. It
gonna,
is a wonderful certification.
hmm
But it is more specific to clinicians,
yeah,
PTs, OTs, speech therapists. I don't believe you have to be one of those. I think other professionals can be, but because it was developed by an OT, it is very occupational therapy based. It was
approach.
developed sort of kind of from the Allen cognitive disabilities
hmm
model. So, if you know the Allen, you pretty much know positive approach to care to a large degree. She's just given some things, different names and a different way of looking at it. The Dawn method, which is the dementia certification for that was developed by the attorney, is also a great certification. The pros of it is it's person centered. It's also convenient. Most of these are now online. The cons to that is it's only one approach. So if you're looking for a specific approach, getting specialty certified in a specific approach is great, but then you're certified just in that approach, right? Um, I'm not sure how many hours it takes. I couldn't find that information. It is not at all therapy based. It is based on her observations. There are no CEUs attached to it. And like I said, a pro and a con to it is it was developed by an attorney. And why I say it's a pro and a con is because it's a pro because she used her observation skills to develop a framework for people with dementia that is phenomenal. I've read the book. The book is behind me here on the my bookshelf. It is a great approach, but the con is it was developed by an attorney. It's not a medical based model, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just different, right?
Yeah.
It's just a different type of a certification.
And
It's
as a
also not very
therapist, when you
well
listen
known.
to that,
I
I'm
beg your
sorry,
pardon?
as a therapist, when you listen to that, you'll be like, huh, I already know that. So,
Right. And that, and that's one of the challenges I find a lot with these dementia certifications is because as clinicians we really do know a lot about dementia and dementia care and
mhm,
how to treat dementia and dementia care. So for a lot of us, oftentimes our base knowledge as clinicians is very, very valuable, and our experiences as working as a PT or an OT or a speech therapist in our own specialty, specialization as a therapist allows us a lot of leeway and opportunity to be very efficient with what we do. So, because we have that base knowledge, sometimes when you take a certification class, it's kind of like, yeah, I knew that, and so it can be frustrating. It depends on why do you want to get a certification. Sometimes a certification is really just a rubber stamp, right? It's a rubber stamp from the outside saying, I went to the extra time and expense to set myself apart and get a credential behind my name saying, yeah, I really do know more about dementia or lymphedema or hand therapy or strokes or whatever the certification is. A certification doesn't replace our qualification, it supplements our qualification. it just shows to people that we're really serious about that particular part of our practice. So the Dodd method was a very interesting one to me. I like the Montessori approach, but this Montessori certification that I found was extremely time intensive, and it is also online, and I really couldn't find a price for it online. But I wanted to say, if you are interested in the Montessori approach, if you are a CDP, and I don't know if Mike knows this or not, but if you are a CDP, you can actually, once you're a CDP, you can take for $70, like on top of, like, you do your certification class, you pay your certification fee, and then you go to MCCDP's website, and for $70, you can get another course where you can become a certified Montessori dementia care practitioner. Did you
Yep,
know that,
yep,
Mike?
yeah. I've been seeing the email from them,
Yeah.
and you know what? At first, I'm like, why do I need to get this? And then I saw the background of that gentleman that was
Oh,
teaching it,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I gotta attend this class.
Yeah.
I gotta learn from this
It is a
gentleman.
great certification. So I took that class on top of, like, I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have 5 certifications in dementia right now.
Hmm.
So I decided, I think I'm collecting certifications in dementia. That'll be my hobby, is to collect certifications. And then there's one
What is the name of that gentleman again?
Cameron Kemp,
You know what? You know what's
Dr.
funny?
Cameron Kemp.
I actually interviewed that gentleman.
I believe you.
and and I forgot his name. I'm like, who is this? Because they reached out to me, hey, could you interview this gentleman for your podcast? And and I'm like, okay, yeah. And I didn't know who he is. I'm like, oh, I don't know. So paying people just pay me to do the interview, okay? And then
Yeah.
I googled him. I'm like, gosh, this is a big wig dimension.
Yeah, he is. He's a very big
Like
wig.
keep a snow
He's very
level
big in the
type of
speech.
person.
He's very big in the speech language pathology
Hmm.
side. He's the one that also developed spaced retrieval,
Yeah.
the technique spaced retrieval. So yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then one of the other is dementia capable care, which is provided through the Crisis Prevention Institute, which is also based on the Allen cognitive levels disabilities. And they have 2. You can become a trainer, and that entry barrier is about $3,250. But then they also
Three
have
thousand
just
two hundred fifty. Wow.
$3,250 to become a certified trainer for them.
Mm.
And then their course is $350. And then the evergreen dementia care specialist, I think, is, if there are, if and then I'll get to skills to care. I'm not going to forget about skills to care, because
Yeah, we
if
don't
you're
want to forget that too. That's an
occupational
amazing.
therapist, you need to
Yeah.
get skills to care. But the Evergreen Certified Dementia Care Specialists, I think, is a great credential. I think the courses are phenomenal. Mike and I have both taught parts of the certification course for geriatrics or dementia. I'm actually in the process of developing a 12-hour course for them on dementia and dementia care. So those are great courses, and they're very good courses specific to therapists. So if you're looking for a course that's dedicated to therapists, then the Evergreen Dementia Care Specialists are great courses for you. If you're just looking for CEUs and a credential, the con is nobody knows what an Evergreen Dementia Care Specialist is. It's an alphabet soup that is not well known. It may be known in our field, but it's not like you go to an attorney and they know what a CDP is because other people have CDP. CDP is a very well-known credential for dementia care. So the 2 lowest barriers of entry for certification in dementia are the CDP and the Evergreen Certified Dementia Care Specialists. And then if you are an occupational therapist, you have to be an OT. It can only be OTs, but probably the best certification I hold in dementia is skills to care.
Hmm.
It's very labor intensive. It's well research backed. It's a long course. You do case studies. So the entry level for that is $2,200 to become certified in skills to care, and you have to be an OT. So all of these different
Can
certifications,
PT not do that?
PTs cannot do it. You have to be an OT.
Wow.
Yeah, it is just an
Discrimination.
occupational therapy modality. Yeah. So if you're an OT, the thing I like about skills to care is because it is a treatment modality, you can use it and bill Medicare for it. So if you have a
Mm-hmm.
mobile Part B, if you work in a home health, those kind of settings, outpatient, it's a great certification to have. Some of the cons is it's very proscriptive, which means you follow a recipe, which means if you don't follow the recipe, you haven't provided skills to care.
Yeah.
But a lot of what I do has been, I don't know how to describe this. I was telling Rachel Wiley, who's the lady who taught us skills to care. Nothing I was taught in skills to care I didn't know before. It's occupational therapy. It's what
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing for 30 years. But they put it together. They put it in a framework that made it very easy to do with people. And it is very well research backed. So it's also a great certification. But if you want to be a dementia consultant, if you want to set yourself apart in the community as somebody who knows what dementia is, then you've got to get some sort of a certification. Uh, our education is great. I'm not disputing our education at all, but it's like going to, what would be a good example? It's like going to a general practitioner doctor when you need a neurologist.
Mm.
If you're, and I hate saying just a PT, just an OT, just a speech therapist, because there's nothing just about us, right? We're
Mhm.
very good at what we do. But if you're trying to set yourself apart and you're not willing to invest in yourself to set yourself apart, then nobody else takes you seriously.
That's so true. That's so true. You need to learn how to invest. A lot of people like, hey, I want to open up a business. I want to start my own consulting business. I want to do this. You got to invest in yourself first.
Absolutely.
Just like a car. If you want to drive a car, obviously you're gonna buy the car, right?
Yeah,
You need to get a loan. You get to get the approval. If you can afford to pay cash, that's better. But in
right.
order for you to achieve and go to that destination that you want to achieve, for example, from point A to point B, you need to have a vehicle, and in that vehicle, you need to invest on it. Same thing with me coming here in the States, and they said I just didn't cross the river
No,
or jump ship or jump the plane or whatever. We flew that. I flew.
we both
You
had
know,
to go through a lot of hoops to get here.
yeah, and
Yeah.
you need to invest, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it, some people will be like, "Oh, I can't even move on to my career," and some people won't even invest on a $10 ebook
Right.
or a
So,
$20
I mean,
actual paperback book. I'm like,
you bring up a
seriously?
very good point. I mean, I've known you for 3 years now. I know how much I've invested in myself in 3 years. And I'm gonna say it because I had a conversation with another therapist earlier today who reached out to me to ask me questions on how to start a consulting business. And I told her, I said, I have invested in 3 years over $30,000 in learning how to start a business, how to become a consultant, how to set myself apart in the community, how to market and sell. Because one of the things that we don't do as therapists is we get a prescription, right? Here, Mike, here's your prescription. You need physical therapy, go see Mike.
Mm-hmm.
You need occupational therapy, go see Lizette. We have a captive audience as therapists. They come to us with a prescription from a doctor saying you need this type of therapy. The only marketing I ever did as an OT was selling my services to a patient who is trying to refuse me, right? Because when a patient's trying to refuse me, my job was to convince them that they needed occupational therapy, right?
That's it, right?
That's the only marketing and sales ability that I brought into this whole equation. And in order to start a dementia consulting business, in order to start a brick and mortar like Mike has or a mobile part B, you have to learn different skill sets. And it starts with just knowing who you want to serve. And if you want to serve people with dementia, you have to get a specialty certification. And then you have to invest in figuring out how to start a business. And yeah, you can muddle along, you can do free courses forever. Nothing in my life changed until I started spending money on myself in order to learn the skills I needed in order to market and sell.
So true. I like what you said. You're spending money on yourself because you got to invest. You got to plant that seed, ladies and gentlemen. You know, plant that seed. You water that seed. Put it in, obviously, put it in a good soil. You're the good soil. Plant that good seed and water it and nurture it. And eventually, you may not see it yet. I mean, Lisette and I never saw this when we planted the seed. We were tempted to go dig into that soil and then look at that seed if it's growing. No, we have to trust God, all right, water it and plant it, put some sunshine on it, and then expecting that seed and that branch eventually will come out. It will
Mhm,
come out eventually, but you got to keep trusting, watering it. Don't put too much water; sheep's gonna drown. And then put a little bit of fertilizer. You know what? The fertilizers, those are manure. Those are challenges in life. You will
mhm.
encounter a lot of challenges along the way. Lucette and I still get challenges,
Oh,
and
every
we were
day.
just talking about, I just got fired from another contract. So there will be challenges, but once you put that authority in that community that you're wanting to serve, everything will follow through. And the first step is obviously getting your certification. I'm not saying get certainly set, but get something to differentiate yourself from the community that you're serving. Because everybody has, not everybody, but most have our PTs. Imagine if I just position myself as a generalist PT, they will not come to our quote unquote Jerry have physical therapy. And I had to pivot. Lisette and I had to pivot a lot of stuff. I started by our company called Tennessee Therapy Outsource. It was so generic. And I said, well, let me do premier physical therapy. It still was generic. And I probably got one or two patients on the side, thinking I could do, a general physical therapy. But when I positioned myself as the Jerihab practitioner, Jerihab physical therapy,
Mhm.
and incorporating certified dementia practitioner, boom, we've grown exponentially
Yeah,
in our community. So,
but
Lisette,
it's because your audience could find you. It's
mm,
because they know that you specialize in geriatrics.
there you go. And you
If
know
you
what?
want.
It's, it's funny you mentioned that. Every time I hear a voicemail in our telephone, in our office line, hey, I heard about your clinic. My name is Mrs. Smith, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I heard you specialize in geriatrics and dementia. It just
Yep,
gives my heart, like, oh, really? And the doctors would refer to us. We've got several doctors who are regularly sending clients to us. I'm like, seriously, I've never expected that. They're sending clients because they trust and believe that we're going to take care of the Alzheimer's and dementia in the
right.
geriatric population. So it's just a good feeling in taking care of this population,
Yeah.
dementia and
And I
yeah,
mean, Mike, I know you know this because you teach the class too, but one out of every three seniors above 65 has some form of dementia.
yeah. I just evaluated a lady earlier. She had MCI.
Hmm.
And she said, I'm having some issues, memory. And then I did a quick MMSE, and then she scored around 17 or 18, I think, in mild cognitive impairment. And she said, no wonder why. And this is a very quick screening tool. And of course, we picked her up for therapy. And then I talked to the spouse, okay, this is what you need to do. Of course, those are non-billable time now because it's more
Right.
like education now. And then, they pay cash for that, aside on top of the therapy services.
Right.
So there are ways, ethical and legal ways for you to be able to start your dementia consulting business. Of course, as much as possible, you bill the insurance, Medicare, if you're dealing with the client. And if it's an educational part, you're talking to the caregivers, you talk to the lawyer, the banker. Banks are actually another untapped potential, because there are a lot of bankers wanting to know more about Alzheimer's and dementia, because this geriatric population, they still bank. And
Mhm.
there are a lot of fraud going on, and we need to educate them on how to detect if there's fraud going on, or MCI or memory impairment with their clients. So, all right, I'm going to stop talking, Lisette. I know you're very
No, you're
busy.
good.
Any
My
last
dad was
parting
actually
wisdom for
just my dad
our
was just
audience?
diagnosed with MCI.
I'm sorry.
My dad was just diagnosed with MCI.
Oh no, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
It's not fun to hear that. I mean,
No, but it was better than the alternative. I've
yeah.
been not only am I a dementia practitioner, but I'm a daughter of two parents who have cognitive impairment. My mom had a stroke at 42 and she has
Mm,
vascular dementia, and she had an aneurysm, and then
mm,
she had multiple strokes on top of that. And then my dad was really, really sick a year ago. Um, and when he was fighting me, so not only am I a dementia practitioner, but I've had to do the fights, the daughter,
mhm.
right? I had to take the car away. I'm like the evil child that took the car away. I
Yeah.
had to take him to outpatient occupational therapy where he tested 18 on the MoCA, which
Mm,
would have been mild dementia at that time, and that was last June. And then at the beginning of May, I took him to the Center for Success in Aging here close to us, which is a specialty center for dementia, and he retested and he scored 23, which put him in the MCI category.
mm,
So, dementia is rampant, guys. And if and I put this in a lot of the posts and things that I do, is you're either going to treat people with dementia because 1 out of 3 of your patients are coming in with it, or
mhm,
you're going to treat people that don't even know that they have dementia, and you're
mm,
going to be the first one, like Mike, to come up and say, hey, Houston, there's a problem, you need to take care of this. Or you are a daughter or a son or a spouse of somebody who is starting to have cognitive impairment.
mm.
And so it doesn't really matter where we work, unless you're just working in pediatrics.
Yep.
And even if you're working in pediatrics, you're probably dealing with grandparents or other people around these people that you're working with that may or may not have cognitive impairment. So I think it's very important. I think it's a highly undeveloped skill in
Yep.
clinicians. Like, I cannot tell you how many times when I worked in the hospital, um, I would, get my patient and I'd be the first one, like, Houston, there's a big old problem. And
Mhm.
I'd take the time and I'd educate the family. And I've got 35 minutes or 40 minutes. And at the end of it, they sit there and they look at you and they say to you, but why hasn't anybody told me this before?
So
You're the
true.
first person who's explained it to me in a way that I understand.
Mm,
I wish I had met you years ago. That's
yeah.
the impact that you can have on these people. Their family members are drowning.
Mm,
The family members of people with dementia are drowning because there are no resources out there. And I cannot tell you how many clinicians I've met through the years, and I love PTs and I love OTs and I love speech therapists, but they have no idea. They have no idea what to do with a
you
person
would
with
be
dementia.
surprised, Lisette. I mean, the people that attend our class, nothing, the people that attend our class, Lisette in my class, because they're so interested, they know what we're talking about. But you'd be
Right.
surprised the people who don't invest. I would go to a nursing home, do a consult. A nurse themselves, they've been working there forever. They don't even know how to deal with dementia.
Nope.
They'll be, are you serious? I'll be looking at them like, are you serious? You're trying to argue with this client here? You know that they have dementia, right? There, they got out that diagnosed. They would argue with them and do reality orientation.
Yeah.
you can't do reality orientation with this type of clients, so stuff like that. So there's really, you're correct, it's an untapped market, there's so much potential in this market that we're wanting to serve, in both in as a clinician and as an education part. So
Right.
yeah, with go ahead and Lisette, go ahead and close it. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
just
no, you're
rambling
good.
off the topic.
I just think, if I paint a pretty picture for anybody who is out there, what are the positives about becoming certified? It gives you such a sense of satisfaction that you actually really do know more than your colleague who is not certified in dementia. You can start to do things like in services and trainings, and like in our community now, because I'm full-time now working on the business and not working and working on the consulting business. But when I go to networking events, I cannot tell you how many times people say to me, will you come do an in service? Can you come help us with this? I have this happening, or I just found out my mom has dementia. And so if you really want to start to do something different, like you're in the alternative healthcare career group for a reason, right? Then you have to decide what it is that you want to do. And if you want to become a dementia consultant, the first thing you need to do is become some sort of specialty certification in dementia. Like Mike said, doesn't need to be hours. It doesn't need like, and when we say hours, Mike and I do this class together. We don't own the course, but we teach the course for the National Council for Certified Dementia Practitioners. But there are other certifications like the Evergreen. That's also a great certification. But commit to becoming certified in dementia and decide what type of certification you're looking for. Are you looking for something that is just for clinicians? Are you looking for something that is well known in the community and out in the community for you to market yourself with? And then just go for it, guys. It's well worth it. It's definitely, I do not regret taking any of these certification classes. I learned something from every one of them, and I know a lot about dementia, and the more I learn about dementia, the less I know about dementia.
It's so true. A lot of people will tell me, "Hey, you're teaching again, don't you?" The reason why I want to teach it, not because I learn from it, and not because I know it, because I learn not only from me teaching, I'm learning from the actual people who are attending the class,
Yeah, for sure.
plus the actual client. There's a
Absolutely.
sense of fulfillment there, and I always tell this. Even Lisette, she knows this. If you want to be successful in life, you have to have a bigger purpose.
Right.
And for me and Lisette, this is our little calling to serve this population, the geriatrics, the Alzheimer's and dementia population. And you need to find that specific, bigger goal in your life,
Mhm.
because you just can't be a wandering generality. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to have a bigger goal in life to serve. And that's how you will be successful. I'm not saying globally successful, even in your own little community. I live in a small town, Martin, Tennessee, and we have a little clinic here in Jackson, Tennessee. And I do know deep inside we're creating at least an impact here, and people appreciate it. They come in and they thank us. Hey, thank you. Like what the said, thank you for explaining this to me. Nobody has explained this. Nobody has done this. And if you're that therapist, I'm talking to you right now. If you're that therapist that people are gravitating towards you when it comes to Alzheimer's and dementia, come and join that class from the set. Go to our website, thinkdifferentdementia.com. I think the class is also there, and
Yep.
attend the
Or
class,
on your website.
or on my website,
Yep.
or whatever certification class. The goal here is not for we're not making millions here, obviously.
Oh gosh, no.
Uh, the goal is if we can educate one therapist, one nurse, one physician, or one PA. I mean, I have physicians and PA and nurse practitioner attend their
Mhm.
class. We can educate one therapist, one PA, one nurse practitioner, a lawyer remotely. We spread it out.
Yep.
It's like a what you call this? Like a what you call
Like
this? A
ripple effect,
network. Uh, what do you call this? A multi-level marketing,
or just even a ripple effect.
a ripple effect.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, "Oh, it's a multi-level marketing." No, it's not a multi. We're teaching people. Yes, it's kind of multi-level marketing.
I wish I could understand how people come to multi-level marketing out of this certification.
I know,
Several
me
people have
too. I'm
told me
like,
that. I'm like,
really? Make
really,
I wish we
really?
could make a lot of money. But the goal is to, if we educate that nurse from another area and she's doing that, boom, we change people's lives. Because we
Yeah,
cannot do it all. I cannot do it all. Lisette
yeah,
cannot do it all. I'm sure Tipa Snow can't do it all. That's why
yeah.
she created her own certification program, because she
Absolutely.
wants to educate a lot of people and spread yes, there may not be treatment for dementia. Yes, we cannot, it's irreversible, but if we can teach the caregivers how to take care of their dementia loved ones, boom, it's a life changer. Lisette, thank you very much. I appreciate you for your
You are
time
welcome very much.
and everything. Nikki, thank you very much for watching live. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
Nikki,
And
join me at the next seminar.
I know, right? Again, Lisette, where can they find you? Do you have any website or phone or
Probably the best place to find me on Facebook is Lizette Cloete Lizette Cloete OT. I'm just my first name and last name OT. They can reach out to me at thinkdifferentdementia.com. My email address is lizette@thinkdifferentdementia.com. So Facebook's great. I don't mind people messaging. People message me all the time about this certification. So if you have questions, message me. And if you're on the fence, call me and we can talk about which certification is best for you. And if you are interested in the little handout I made, just let me know and I can drop you a link and send you it on all of the different types of certifications for dementia out there.
yeah, and Lisette, when will be your next class again? A lot of people are asking
This
about that.
next class is on the 20th of May, which is not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday. And the
Mhm.
one after that, and I'm going to look here in my calendar real quick, will be June the 17th.
Perfect. All right. Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you very much, Lucette. I appreciate you for everything that you do, and thank you for answering the call to be amazing. But before I let you go, ladies and gentlemen, always remember the word fast. FAST. Okay. Letter F. Find people that will bring out the best in you, because you are the average of the five people you hang out with tonight. I feel like I want to, I'm just pumped up, serving all this Alzheimer's and dementia and geriatric population. Find people that will bring out the best in you, okay? Because again, you are the average of the five people you hang out with, okay? Next letter is letter A. Take action. All this stuff that we're doing is not going to do me good. It's not even going to do Lisette good if you don't take action. Take action. Imperfect action beats perfect in action. Take action by going to her website. Take action by attending her class, obviously. Go to her website, thinkdifferentdementia.com, or our website, drmikechua.com/ADDC. Take action by attending. She's got a class on May the 20th and, of course, June the 17th, if I'm not mistaken. All right? Take action. Right? I don't want you, I will, you live in regret. There was a time somebody uh, asked me, "Hey, Dr. Mike, when do you think you should start your clinic?" I said, I wish I started it sooner. The same thing when you're getting your certification courses or classes or whatever, you would wish you would start that sooner. All right, you would want to wish. So take action. Next letter on the word fast is letter S. Shoot for the moon. Why? You're gonna miss it. And once you miss that shooting in the moon, you're gonna land with the stars. And tonight we landed with the star, with Lisette. So she shoot for the moon. All right, you're gonna fail. You're not gonna miss that moon, and you're gonna land with the star. Okay, make sure you keep shooting. All right. And next, last but not least, is letter T, is teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, you're actually understanding it more. And that's what Lisette is doing. She's teaching us how to understand Alzheimer's and dementia. Okay? Be careful, be awesome, be great, be excellent. And we will see you again, my Facebook friends. Good night. Thank you, Lisette. Bye.
HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient intake process. Beautifully engineered and cloud-based for easy accessibility, the software works on all platforms. You can access patient records from anywhere. We also offer 24/7 support. HelloNote is the practice management solution that you're looking for.